When I say Andaman and Nicobar Islands, what comes to mind? If you're an Indian, I can guess. A remote chain of islands, beautiful beaches, maybe even water sports. But what about marine warfare? Just last week, a Japanese destroyer visited Port Blair. That's the capital of Andaman and Nicobar. The military leaders held talks. The sailors, meanwhile, had a nice time of football and some yoga. Last month, another warship was in town, the French frigate Lorraine. The vessel made a port call at Port Blair, which begs the question, why the sudden interest in Andaman and Nicobar? To understand that, we must look at the geography. Andaman and Nicobar is an archipelago. It has 572 islands. The northernmost is close to Myanmar. The southernmost is close to Indonesia. It straddles two important oceans, the Indian Ocean and the Pacific. It is also close to a very important choke point, the Malacca Strait. This strip of water between Malaysia and Indonesia, this is the Malacca Strait. And why is it important? Because ships heading to China pass through here. Most of them carry oil. Around 80% of China's oil imports go via Malacca. You strangle Malacca, you strangle China. That's how it works. Which is why Andaman and Nicobar is so important. It is almost 1,200 kilometers away from mainland India, but that distance is the biggest advantage. From Andaman, you can keep tabs on Malacca. You can project military power. You can also run supply and reconnaissance missions. So the strategic value is huge. Why then did India never use it? Because it was never really necessary. China's Indian Ocean ambitions emerged in the last decade. They began sending fishing boats, patrols and submarines. In 2016, China built a military base in Djibouti. That's on the other side of the Indian Ocean, in the Horn of Africa. The next year, in 2017, they got the Hambantota port in Sri Lanka. Suddenly, China was all around us. That's when New Delhi began realizing the potential of Andaman and Nicobar. So what are they doing about it? The first priority is to improve the infrastructure. The Navy has an air station on this island called Campbell Bay. It has a 3,500 feet long runway. It is now being upgraded to 10,000 feet. You can't operate bigger planes without long runways. In January, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh was at this air station. He reviewed the upgrade progress. A second runway is also being built, another 10,000 feet one in the southern islands. These new runways will be crucial to hosting military planes. In 2020, a US aircraft landed there for refueling, a surveillance plane called P-8 Poseidon. It was the first such mission on Andaman and Nicobar. Some Indian assets are also deployed there, like the Sukhoi fighter jets and the Jaguar planes. In many ways, Andaman is perfect for the job. It is the only place in India with a joint command. And what does that mean? All three services of Indian military operate under a single leadership there: the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. All these assets report to a single command. In the mainland, that's not the case. Each service reports to its own leadership. Experts say joint commands are better in the long run. There is more synergy, more clarity. Andaman and Nicobar already has that. This year, a major joint military exercise was held there. It involved the Army, the Navy, the Air Force and the Coast Guard. So the thought process is right, and it's not just military investments. Civilian infrastructure is also getting a boost. The government says it has invested 30,000 crore rupees in the last decade in Andaman and Nicobar. The plan is to invest another 10,000 crores. A transshipment hub, an international airport, a solar power plant are all in the works. Other countries are also investing, by the way. Japan, for example, is funding a power project. Quick side note, Tokyo actually captured Andaman and Nicobar in 1942. This was during the Second World War. They realized the strategic importance even then, 1942. Almost 80 years later, the world is also realizing the same thing. They're calling Andaman and Nicobar an unsinkable carrier, a formidable outpost to counter China. But words alone are not enough. The islands need major military upgrades to serve such a purpose. More military assets, more surveillance tech, more infrastructure. If not, it's a waste of strategic value.